Hello and welcome to the EE Pocket-lint Awards 2021. It's been a jam-packed 12 months with plenty of products to review.
Today we're going to be having a look at some foldable phones, games consoles, seeing what you can get from fitness subscriptions, and we're also going to be delving into the murky world of virtual reality. Of course, during this video we're also going to be announcing many of the winners of the Pocket-lint Awards.
And I'd like to take this moment to thank our headline sponsor EE, as well as category sponsors Disney Plus and the Gearloo.
For a full list of winners, please head straight over to Pocket-lint.com.
But first, Cam has been looking at the rise of foldable phones and whether a flip phone is going to be the next phone in your pocket.
Let's face it, the smartphone market has become a little boring. Each year we'd see an iterative change over the previous year, with each new generation being a slightly fancier and slightly better version of the shiny glass rectangle they launched 12 months earlier, at least until the first foldable phones made their appearance. Thanks to the development of flexible display panels and the techniques and materials required to actually use them in a final product, we finally have something new. And there is one company that has really championed the dawn of flexible phones for regular people: Samsung. Its first phone, the Z Fold, had a tablet-sized screen that you could fold like a book into the size of a regular smartphone. That way you could have a huge screen that you carried around with you every day. Its next new form was the Z Flip, which took a regular smartphone screen and let you fold it in half like a flip phone, so it fits in smaller spaces, making it much more compact than a normal smartphone. Now, as exciting as this first crop of flippy and foldy phones was when it first launched in 2019 and 2020, the release highlighted a couple of key problems that needed fixing. First was build quality and durability. A folding screen by its very nature can't be made from a rigid and durable material like glass. And having a mechanism to open and shut like any moving part needs more components, and they need to survive the lifetime of the product. It also means more places for dust and water to get in and ruin it. The second was cost. The first wave of flexible smartphones were all well over the £1,000 mark, making them even more expensive than the most premium standard smartphones. Samsung, Motorola and Huawei were asking for a huge premium for early adopters for devices that in reality weren't ready for consumption by the average consumer. But in 2021, Samsung has taken a huge leap into fixing those two pain points. It launched the Galaxy Z Flip 3 and the Z Fold 3. Much more than just a piece of aspirational concept tech, the Z Flip 3 has landed as part fashion item, part smartphone, and it costs less than £1,000. It's no longer something you have to pay a flexible phone tax for, just to get that new something that's exciting and futuristic. What's more, it's got the same kind of power as the top flagships, and it has two good cameras and a high refresh rate screen on the inside. It feels sturdy and it's even waterproof to a high level, plus it comes in a bunch of different colours, and has a number of cases available, further promoting personal expression. It's a very tempting offering for anyone. As for the Z Fold, that's still very much new territory, here to tease us that perhaps that one day in tech utopia when we have one device that can do absolutely everything isn't too far away. It can be a phone and a tablet, but also with Samsung's DeX platform it can be hooked up to a monitor to be used like a real computer, and even has S Pen support so you can use it as a notepad, and it folds up neatly to put in your pocket. Sure, you'll still hear people talking about the latest iPhones, but thanks to the Z Flip and the Z Fold, you're also going to hear more people talking about foldable smartphones too. And you might even see people using them out and about, and that's a very good thing. The only thing that remains to be seen is whether the constant flexing, opening and shutting of the phone does any damage to the screen long term. But even if it does, there's a solution in the works. Samsung's Korean neighbours LG has announced that it plans to launch a new flexible screen material in 2023. This material, which LG calls a real folding window, is as hard as glass, but with folding areas that are as flexible as plastic. What's more, it apparently doesn't have the obvious creasing that we've seen in screens so far. Whether or not it lives up to that promise from the manufacturer is yet to be seen, but it does sound very promising. Even without that, the Samsung Z Flip has brought foldable phones into the mainstream, and we hope it's here to stay. Because if nothing else, it's nice to have devices that don't all look the same again. It's been a while.
Thanks for that, Cam. Now, when it comes to the world of smartphones, we've seen plenty of advancements this year in terms of photography, speed, efficiency and performance. This year's best flagship phone goes to the Google Pixel 6 Pro, with the Apple iPhone 13 Pro coming in a close second. And if you're after a mid-range device, then you'll want the Samsung Galaxy A52 5G. That's the winner for that category. And if you're getting a new phone for this year, don't forget EE, our headline sponsor, the UK's best network for the last 8 years as voted by Root Metrics. Now, getting to the gym this year hasn't necessarily been the easiest thing, so we found it coming to us, with devices and services from Peloton, Apple, Fit and Hydro all changing the way that we exercise at home. Pocket-lint's Max Freeman-Mills has been finding out a little more.
If the last couple of years have taught us anything, actually scratch that, the last couple of years have taught us way too much. But in amongst all that mess has been the fact that a lot of us need to be able to stay fit and healthy in our homes. The gym's a refuge for so many fitness enthusiasts, but if you can't make it there or you can't afford it, being able to stay fit at home is a must. The tech sector's been all over that idea in recent times, and we've tried too many solutions to count. Some of the most recognisable names in the market have got to the top by taking a gentle approach to innovation. They take the machines you recognise from your gym routines and make them a bit more compatible with your home. Take Peloton. For a long time, its main, in fact its only product, was a very fancy version of the exercise bike we all know and either love or loathe. The big change, a whacking great screen up front, lets you take part in classes and track your metrics easily. Now though, Peloton has a few more strings to its bow. From live classes across other disciplines to another machine in the form of the relaunched Peloton Tread, you could build yourself a pretty comprehensive home gym using its branded gear alone. For another example of this more gentle approach, look at Hydro. It adds a screen of its own to a sleek and swanky rowing machine for all the same benefits. There's another shared factor between Peloton, Hydro and the other players in this market too. Big fat price tags. Fitness isn't a luxury, but home fitness gear often gets priced like one. That's why gyms have had a business model for so long after all. Mixing more smarts into the situation doesn't tend to help too much on that front. Mirror, for example, sticks a fitness display onto a mirror for a more hidden sort of home gym, but costs a heck of a lot to accommodate that impressive tech. Taking care of your muscles after a workout is key as well, and Theragun is the king of that realm thanks to its percussion massagers, but they too have eye-watering sums attached to them. That's why we're so interested to see the likes of Apple leading the charge on a slightly different type of in-home fitness approach, one that might only need a yoga mat and the tech you already use. It launched Fitness Plus at the end of 2020, which leverages the health tracking of Apple Watches to let you participate in classes on whatever display suits you. Well, so long as it's tied into Apple's ecosystem, of course. While it doesn't yet have the same breadth of options compared to more established rivals like HIIT or Fit, the way it uses your watch is undeniably satisfying. This looks increasingly like it could be the way into the hearts and minds of the masses too. Rather than lumbering you with bulky and expensive gym equipment, you can pick up a sleek and at least potentially inexpensive wearable. Google, now that it owns Fitbit, will surely be working on some competition of its own, and the likes of Huawei and Xiaomi are making sure their own devices offer comprehensive home workouts too. Basically, it's very much possible to go out there and get yourself a swanky bit of kit to really unlock that perfect workout. But things are getting more accessible, and it's a trend we're really pleased to see developing, even if it does make it harder to justify a day on the sofa at the weekend.
So that's the Gear Loop, a new outdoor adventure site that covers everything from sea to summit. So what's the best fitness gadget this year in association with the Gear Loop? Well, it's the Garmin Forerunner 55, and if you're after a smartwatch, then you'll be wanting to get an Apple Watch Series 7. No doubt you want to enjoy some music with all that training you're about to do, and if so, you want to get the best in-ear headphones this year, which are the Sony WF-1000 XM4s. And for those of you that aren't so energetic, the best speaker this year is the Baron Wilkins Zeppelin, while the best over-ear headphones are the Philips Fidelio L3s. It's been a big year for virtual reality this year, with plenty of new announcements, new headsets, and even Facebook saying they're going to fully embrace the metaverse. Pocket-lint's Adrian has been looking at the devices that allow you to experience the virtual realm.
The virtual reality landscape has changed a lot in the last few years. We've seen those cheap and affordable smartphone-tethered virtual reality headsets like Samsung Gear VR and Google Cardboard get replaced with much more interesting offerings. We now have technology that's progressed a long way in a very short period of time, delivering some really great virtual reality experiences. Companies like HTC have focused on creating high-end gaming and virtual reality headsets that are designed to tether to your gaming PC or are to be used by enterprise-level customers. These are often expensive but boast some of the most serious specs, delivering the most eye-pleasing and immersive experiences around. Meanwhile, Oculus has seen the value of the mass market and has created an affordable headset offering in the form of the Oculus Quest and now the Oculus Quest 2. Quest 2 doesn't require a PC or an order to run, and yet delivers a much better gaming experience than those smartphone-tethered VR headsets of yesteryear. Now you can play games without your PC in a wireless freedom which cannot be overstated in how wonderful that is. Yet if you want the very best virtual reality headset experience, you still need wires and you still need to pay a lot of money. Headsets like the HTC Vive Pro 2, the Valve Index, and the HP Reverb G2 deliver incredible virtual reality experiences. Meanwhile, bonkers headsets like the Pimax 8KX deliver fantastic visuals with two displays capable of 4K per eye. These headsets require the very best gaming PCs in order to run, but they also deliver the best experiences around. Most impressive, perhaps, is the Varjo XR3, which has everything from hand and eye tracking to full-frame bionic display with human eye-level resolution. This is obviously an incredible offering, and yet one that will set you back thousands if you want to purchase it, so it's not terribly accessible. But it certainly looks like VR isn't stopping anytime soon. There's loads and loads of companies getting involved now, and with more and more devices appearing, it's only going to become more accessible. We're also seeing a number of other companies getting involved, and there's a crossover between virtual reality and mixed reality and augmented reality, with multiple companies experimenting with different things. Apple is said to be working on some sort of headset for the near future. Magic Leap is back too, with its smallest and lightest augmented reality device that's built for enterprise-level customers. HTC has recently released the Vive Flow, which is a more accessible headset that looks like a pair of glasses. This is designed to allow you to focus on mindfulness and mental well-being rather than play games for the most part, and to do things like watch Netflix and YouTube videos in a peaceful, quiet environment that's personalized. But over £1,000, it's aimed at business users rather than the public and isn't really a viable alternative at the moment. It seems that Oculus doesn't really have much in the way of competition currently, and unless things change with, for example, a PlayStation VR headset being launched, it's probably going to stay that way. For the most part, if you want the very best experience, you're still paying a lot of money and require both a gaming PC and wires in order to run. And if you want something that's more accessible, then you have to sell your soul to Facebook. This might not be as bad as it seems though, because a lot more companies are getting involved with virtual reality, and it seems like things are constantly changing and evolving. So we are interested to see what might happen in the future, especially with more mass market adoption, and hopefully virtual reality will become accessible to a lot more people, with a lot more average users experience the wonder that is virtual reality and everything that it has to offer.
Thanks for that, Adrian. Back in the real world, Disney Plus is crowned the best TV streaming service this year, while the Amazon Fire Stick 4K Max wins for best streaming device. Other winners this year include the Hyundai Ioniq 5, the Sony Alpha 1 camera, the Apple MacBook Air, the Apple iPad mini, and the Razer Blade 14 gaming laptop. One of the big categories that's dominated the headlines this year has been gaming consoles. Pocket-lint's Rik Henderson has been checking out the arrival of the next generation consoles from Xbox, Sony and Nintendo to arrive in our houses this year.
Gaming has been massive in the last 12 months, both figuratively and literally. We've seen the biggest console launches of the biggest consoles, and we've seen players enter the market who aren't normally associated. Big tech firms such as Google, with its continued push of its cloud gaming platform Stadia, Amazon with its own cloud gaming platform Luna, and the debut of its games from its own game studios, Apple with the perpetually well-served Apple Arcade, and even Netflix is getting in on the action today. However, the big three gaming giants have had the best year yet, with their own respective new consoles dropping jaws and putting the word scalpers firmly into our vocabularies. We've been treated to the introduction of the PlayStation 5, a behemoth of a machine that looks like when stood on end, it's dropped straight off of the set of Blade Runner. Boasting high-end graphical prowess and sweet loading times, the console has enormous cooling fans, ensuring that it no longer sounds like an asthmatic helicopter taking off during a hailstorm. PS4 Pro, we're looking at you. Two options launched, one with disk drive, one without, but Xbox went one step further still by launching two distinct different consoles, the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. Like the PS5, the Xbox Series X is also a mighty slab. A monolithic lump that similarly looks like a movie prop, this time with Neanderthalic apes dancing around it in worship. However, it's an even beefier beast on the inside, offering the same kind of spec that PC gamers have been boasting about for years. Its smaller brethren, the Series S, arrived less well endowed, but giving those who are more budget conscious a chance to also get in on the next gen wave. And what of Nintendo? Well, not one to want to feel left out, it too arrived with a bigger device. Well, a Nintendo Switch that's similarly sized, but with a 7-inch bigger OLED display. Gamers really haven't had it as good as in the last 12 months. Well, that's if they could get their hands on any of the latest kit, that is. Yes, gamers have had the finest hardware, but getting their hands on one hasn't been so easy. If there is one man we've hated more than any other during the year, it's Game.co.uk's little stick man obliviously walking his way along a queue line that will inevitably end in disappointment. Stock shortages have exasperated us all, with scalping groups snagging consoles as soon as they appear online, and a global chip shortage ensuring neither Xbox nor Sony could make machines as fast as the demand. Add to that the unprecedented levels of said demand, thanks to us all being stuck indoors, so wanting to virtually shoot bad guys in the nether regions, and you have a lot of frustration and that intense hatred of Little Mr. Game. Things will get better soon, no doubt, and games will continue to improve to tap into the console's undoubted potential. Chip shortages will soon be a long-distant memory, and gaming will grow bigger than you could possibly imagine, especially when big tech all comes in wanting a larger slice of the pie. Speaking of pie and chips, I think I can hear my tea calling.
Thanks, Rik. For the best game or VR device this year, the winner is the Sony PlayStation 5. Might be hard to come by, but once you do, you'll be mightily impressed. Best television, in association with Disney Plus, is the Philips OLED 806. It's a very impressive set. Of course, you might want to increase the sound even more, at which point we'd recommend getting the Sony HT A7000 soundbar. It is our winner for that category. And what to play? Well, that's an easy one. It's Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, pipping out Deathloop to win the coveted Best Game of the Year award. Each year, in association with EE, we like to award a technology, a device or service that's super fast. And this year we've picked the Apple M1 processor. A bold move from the company, it started a new transition to powering the way that their machines work over the next couple of years. And finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, the EE Pocket-lint Award Product of the Year 2021. It was an incredibly hard decision to make this year, but the winner is the Sony PlayStation 5. Well, that's it for this year's EE Pocket-lint Awards 2021. Until next year, pip pip.
Let's go to the pub.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this week's show. Until next time, pip pip.
Do it again. Look for the
And that's it for this year's...